Hi, good afternoon. This is Richard Kahan. Welcome to the Eurovision Song Contest. So hands up, who here knows that there are 3 layers to a tooth? Excellent, almost everyone. Enamel, dentine and pulp. But who here completely understands the reason for these layers and their importance? Almost no one, including dentists. Surely you would have wondered why the tooth is not just one solid piece of rock to chew on. Why the complexity and consequential problems with ice cream and toothache? Most believe these structures to be throwbacks from tooth development, and an unfortunate remnant that causes all sorts of difficult problems that can be tough to solve. However, actually, the design of a tooth is a fabulous example of superlative microengineering. The form and function uniquely created to protect the tooth itself of the jaw and the associated jaw muscles. If the tooth was a solid slab embedded in the jaw, just like an implant, there would be no way to protect it from the continued high forces of chewing and grinding. They would chip and break easily. The jawbone would become damaged and the muscles of the jaw joint, the temporomandibular joint, would be stressed, causing aches and pains. The outer layer of the tooth is a super hard shell of a crystalline substance, enamel. It is the hard hat on top of another hard but more flexible material, dentine. This inner, softer material gives the tooth the ability to flex and effectively absorb forces. But if it overflexes, the enamel would fracture. So dentine is uniquely designed to instantly feed back to the brain and then to the jaw muscles the forces placed on the tooth. Running through dentine are many millions of tiny channels, dentinal tubules, that contain fluid. The dentinal fluid produced by the underlying pulp. The fluid is constantly being pumped out through the tubules. If you observe the surface of a live tooth under high magnification and blow it with air, painful, it will quickly become wet again with dentinal fluid. The fluid has a number of purposes, but the primary ones are protective. It contains immune reactive proteins to resist and destroy bacteria. But it is the movement of the fluid in the tubules that gives it the most wonderful property. Fluid movement is carefully monitored by hyper-fast nerves positioned at the interface of the dentine with the pulp below, and most numerous of these sit just below the cusps of the tooth, the pointy bits. Any increased movement of the fluid in the tubules, such as when the tooth flexes during biting, produces a pain stimulus in the nerves that is instantly transmitted to the brain, which eases off on the biting forces. This continuous microfeedback inside the tooth is happening at a subconscious level while we eat in order to protect the tooth and jaw from breaking and the muscles from overloading. It is totally genius. The pulp itself is also a beautifully engineered specialized tissue consisting of a network of tiny blood vessels feeding the superfast nerve fibers and the cells that produce the dentinal fluid. It has impressive resilience built in with vascular shunts that can divert blood flow from areas of increased pressure and inflammation. This is why our job as dentists is to protect the functioning pulp-dentine complex and keep it as healthy as possible when it is damaged by decay, wear and tear, or very high forces. Wherever possible, we want to maintain the health of the pulp so that the tooth remains protected in function. It's why we can never replace a tooth with anything as good.